Ooh, chapter 33. Okie doke. And look, I got my hair cut. Much better, eh? Well, different, just different. Okay, chapter 33. Look, we've only got a few pages left. Are you sure this is a good idea? Asked Lil, her brow creased with worry as Echo and Horace climbed into Cloudcatcher. You know what happened the last time you flew off on your own? We'll be fine, said Echo, fastening her harness. You don't need to worry, Mother, I promise. Lil shook her head. And you're sure you know the way? Can't miss it, said Echo, focusing on the smoking crater of Mount Val at the other end of the canyon. We'll come straight back. I think these are securely attached, Bulkhead shouted up from where he was working beneath Cloudcatcher. Just pulling this thread here and that will release the net. He passed Horace the whisper-fine Ethernet thread and stepped back as Echo fired up the engines. With a whir, the propeller began to spin and Cloudcatcher lifted slowly into the air. We'll meet you back here, shouted Lil above the buzz of the engines. In the meantime, we'll head back to the dragon's lair and see what treasure can be salvaged. Once the others have gone, added Bulkhead. Lil nodded. It's too dangerous to take on the 6 other Sky Pirate clans as one, but perhaps they'll leave something behind. Okay. For a moment, Echo's heart was torn. The Black Sky Wolves' coffers really were empty now. Perhaps they should keep just one of the dragon's eggs to sell. It would solve all their money problems after all. She glanced at the 3 eggs in gleaming red, green and gold as they dangled in the Ethernet that hung beneath the Cloudcatcher. Then she caught Horace's eye and flushed. No, she'd made a promise to the dragon. They both had, and they were going to keep it. Be careful, shouted Lil. I will, Echo yelled back as she brought the Cloudcatcher higher past Slingshot, who saluted from the crow's nest and up into the air. As they left Mount Enoch behind, Echo took a last glance over her shoulder. All 6 of the other airships were moored close to the entrance of the dragon's lair. Around them, Sky Pirates swarmed all over the mountain, carrying armfuls of gold back to their ships, while Miranda stood in the center of it all, the cutlass of Caliente glittering at her hip. Echo's belly knotted with regret, and she tightened her grip on Cloudcatcher's controls. Those pirates didn't deserve any of it. She turned the gyrocopter away and pointed its nose in the direction of Mount Val. Mount Val was wreathed in murky clouds, and the further north they flew up the canyon, the darker the sky became. Soon rain was falling on them, running in rivulets down Echo's nose and washing the red dust from her skin. Isn't rivulets a great word? Rivulets of rain, running in rivulets down Echo's nose and washing the red dust from her skin. As they approached the volcano, the clouds crackled around them and there was a rumble of low thunder. Look, Horace pointed into the crater, his blonde hair plastered to his face. Echo blinked the rain out of her eyes and followed his gaze, careful to keep Cloudcatcher steady, and she felt her breath catch as she saw the red glow of molten lava boiling and spitting in the volcano's mouth. Do you really think this is going to work? Horace asked. Miranda told me dragons were forged in flame, said Echo, thinking back to her first day aboard the Anaconda. It seemed like a lifetime ago. The eggs hatch in the heat of their mother's fiery breath, and a dragon's breath is as hot as a volcano, agreed Horace. Well, here goes. Echo braced herself. On 3, okay? She steered Cloudcatcher right over the volcano cone, squinting as the plumes of smoke surrounded them. 1, 2, 3. Horace wrestled with the Ethernet threads as Echo battled with the controls. Sparks and smut flew all around them, turning to sludge as they hit their wet skin. Echo spat ash from her mouth and wiped grey water from her goggles. Have you done it? It's got tangled somehow, Horace shouted. Now, Horace shook his head. No, it's still stuck. Cloudcatcher bucked on the currents of hot air and a bolt of lightning fizzled through the sky. Echo felt a thrum of energy from Stinger. Of course. Hold these, she shouted, swiveling the controls over. She drew Stinger from her boot, feeling the familiar warmth spread up her arm with a zing. She reached down, reins soaking her back, and swiped at the net with her sword. And with a switch, Echo sliced through the Aethernet, and 3 eggs, red, green, and gold, went tumbling through the air and into Mount Val's hungry, red, glowing mouth. Has it worked? Echo steered Cloudcatcher out of the fiery winds of Mount Val and dropped into a holding pattern once they were a safe distance. Can you see anything? Not yet. Horace put the spyglass to his eye and squinted through the rain. Gilbert climbed up onto Echo's head and peered out to his crest raised in anticipation. How long will it take them to hatch? I don't know, said Horace. Echo clenched her fists on the controls in frustration. It had to work. Otherwise, this had just all been a huge waste of time. Fear washed over her. They could have sold the eggs. The Black Wolves would never have to worry about money again. Had it all been for nothing? Horace lowered his spyglass. It was a risk, Echo, he said. We didn't know for a fact they'd hatch in the volcano. But you said volcanoes are as hot as a dragon's breath. Maybe I was wrong, said Horace. Shall we wait a little longer? Asked Echo forlornly. A vision of the dragon's elegant ruby red body crashing so heavily into the water flashed back before her eyes, and sadness settled in her stomach. It has to work, she whispered. We tried, Echo, he said. We did our best, I suppose. Echo pushed the wet hair out of her eyes, her heart heavy with disappointment. We should go back to the others. She pulled on the handles and began to wield Cloudcatcher around. Echo, wait! Horace grabbed her arm. I thought I saw... Yes! What? Echo followed Horace's gaze as her heart soared with relief as 3 baby dragons, 1 red, 1 green, and 1 gold, burst out of the volcano, roaring and spitting flames. That's the end of that chapter, so we're going to have to find out more next time. What's that? You want to hear the first sentence of the next chapter, chapter 34? Okay then, just the first sentence. It was much later, when the sun was just a scarlet flare on the horizon, that Echo landed Cloudcatcher back on the deck of the Scarlet Margaret to the cheers of the waiting crew. Okay, we will find out what happens next time. Good night, Baba. Okay, one for me. I gotcha. Night night.